Making headlines this hour, Parliamentary Committee formally approves the appointment of Fatimat Diana Saeed as the ambassador of the Maldives to the European Union and Belgium. The Bank of Maldives BML announces that its homegrown digital wallet Swipe has crossed the 20,000 user milestone. The Ministry of Economic Development, Transport and Trade launches the Agumagu app, a new platform designed to make it easier for the public to view and compare the prices of everyday goods.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to PSM News in English with me, Abdullah Ahil. And now the news in detail. The 72nd and 73rd Basic Military Training Courses of the Maldives National Defense Force, or MNDF, concludes with graduates officially taking their oath of service. The swearing-in ceremony was held at the Girifushi Training Center. The ceremony was officiated by President Dr. Mohamed Muiz, who also presented badges to the graduates who successfully completed the training program. The event was attended by Minister of Defense and National Service Hassan Rashid and Chief of Defense Force Major General Ibrahim Hilmi. The total of 255 recruits graduated from the 72nd and 73rd Basic Military Training Courses and took the oath of service. This included 138 recruits from the 72nd course and 117 recruits from the 73rd course. The 72nd Basic Military Training Course, conducted by the MNDF College of Defense and Security Studies, began on the 7th of March 2026 and ran for 4 months. Training for this course was held at the Addu Training Center. The 73rd Basic Military Training Course also commenced on the 7th of March 2026 and lasted 4 months. Training for this course was conducted at the Girifushi Training Center. The oath of service for graduates of both courses was administered by High Court Judge Hussein Mazid. The basic military training course is designed for new recruits joining the MNDF, providing them with the knowledge, skills, and practical training required to serve in the various branches of the armed forces. The primary objective of the course is to develop disciplined, physically fit, and morally upright service personnel who are patriotic, obedient to lawful command, and equipped with the fundamental military knowledge and skills required of every member of the MNDF. Parliamentary Committee formally approves the appointment of Fatimat Diana Saeed as the ambassador of the Maldives to the European Union and Belgium.
The nomination was initially forwarded by the President to the session of the Parliament held on 7th July, at which point the matter was directed to the Foreign Relations Committee of Parliament for review. Following a rigorous evaluation of her professional record, committee members determined that Diana possesses the requisite capability and qualifications for this diplomatic role. The motion to confirm her appointment as the envoy to the EU and Belgium was subsequently passed with the unanimous consent of those in attendance. Diana previously served as the Attorney General during the administration of former President Mohamed Nasheed. She later held the position of Minister of Gender during the administration of former President Dr. Mohamed Wahid. Before this recent advancement, she was appointed to the post of Ambassador at Large at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs last April. The committee addressed the status of Ahmad Sarir, the current ambassador of the Maldives to Saudi Arabia. Members approved his designation to serve as the non-resident ambassador to Bahrain. This decision received the unanimous support of all participating committee members.
The first term of the current academic year officially ends with report books distributed to all students across the nation's 218 government schools. Classes wrapped up this morning, making the start of a scheduled 16-day holiday that will see students return to the classrooms on the 2nd of August for the commencement of the second term. According to the Ministry of Education, Higher Education and Skills Development's academic calendar, the second term will run from the 2nd of August through the 17th of December, after which students will enjoy an extended break from the 18th of December to the 16th of January, amounting to a 30-day vacation period. Enrollment figures for the 2026 school year show a robust increase, with more than 77,000 pupils attending government schools. This year welcomed 4,790 new first-grade students, of whom 1,748 are enrolled in schools located in the Male area and 3,042 in Atoll-based schools. A permanent school has also been inaugurated in the second phase of Hulumale for the start of the academic year. The facility currently accommodates over 1,900 students from grades 1 through 10, reflecting the government's ongoing effort to expand educational capacity in fast-growing urban centers. The Ministry of Economic Development, Transport and Trade launches the Agomago app, a new platform designed to make it easier for the public to view and compare the prices of everyday goods.
The Agomago portal, which allows consumers to check the prices of products available on the market, was first launched on the 28th February 2025. Initially, it only displayed prices from shops in Male. However, with the introduction of the Agomago mobile app, the ministry says users will now also be able to view prices from shops across the islands in the atolls. Through the app, consumers can access up-to-date prices for everyday household items in one place. Users can compare the lowest, average, and highest prices for products sold by different retailers. The app also allows users to track price changes over the previous 10 days. According to the ministry, the app enables consumers to check where products are available at the best prices before traveling or visiting a particular location. Users can also receive notifications wherever the prices of selected items increase or decrease. In addition, shoppers can save shopping lists within the app and view the latest prices for those items at any time. The ministry said the app can also identify where an entire shopping list can be purchased at the lowest overall cost, as well as show which retailers offer the best prices for individual products.
The Ministry of Climate Change, Environment and Energy announces that a pilot project designed to transform waste into compost is successfully progressing across 6 islands.
This initiative forms part of a broader government strategy to resolve the national waste crisis by converting refuse into both energy and compost. The administration aims to complete regional waste management centers by July of next year. The Deputy Minister of Climate Change, Environment and Energy, Ahmad Nizam, noted during an appearance on the PSM news program Rajya Miyadu. While officials upgrade existing facilities, resources have been provided to 88 islands to support local operations. In many communities, up to 70% of waste is biodegradable, prompting officials to extract economic value rather than discarding the material. This technology is active on Kolufushi, Kurendu, Muli, Kudahuadu, Timarafushi, and Damidu. The national strategy encompasses 7 geographical zones, with the government considering consolidation based on regional waste volumes and needs. Sustainable waste management practices have also reached the penal system, where the Maldives Correctional Service has finalized a composting agreement with Soniva Namuna. Discarded food from prison facilities is now repurposed to produce compost, an initiative advancing successfully.
The Ministry of Homeland Security, Labor and Technology and Centara Grand Lagoon Maldives forms a partnership through a Memorandum of Understanding, or MOU, aimed at creating jobs and delivering vocational training for Maldivian youth.
The agreement, signed under the Sustainable and Integrated Labour Services Sales project implemented by the ministry with technical assistance from the World Bank, seeks to bridge the gap between job seekers and employers by offering career guidance, targeted skills development courses, apprenticeships, and internships. The MOU was signed by the Minister of State for Homeland Security, Labour and Technology, Abdullah Fairush on behalf of the government, while Centara Lagoon Maldives was represented by George Fernandez, acting cluster general manager of Centara Mirage and Grand. Under the terms of the pact, which runs until June 2027, recent graduates and higher education students can undertake internships lasting 3 to 6 months. Additionally, a one-year apprenticeship program will be open to candidates who have completed GCE A-levels. Participants who successfully finish either track will be considered for permanent positions based on performance. The ministry emphasized that the initiative's core objective is to facilitate direct workplace experience and improve employability within the tourism sector, the backbone of the Maldivian economy. The collaboration is expected to generate greater interest among Maldivian youth in pursuing careers in tourism and related industries, reinforcing the government's broader strategy to develop a skilled, adaptable workforce capable of supporting the nation's long-term growth.
According to Bank of Maldives or BML Chief Executive Officer Mohammed Sharif, BML has sufficient US dollar liquidity with the bank, having issued loans worth $226 million US dollars during the first 6 months of this year alone.
Speaking at the opening ceremony of the Youth Entrepreneurs Expo, Sharif said that by the end of last month, BML had more than double the value of US dollar loans issued to businesses compared with the total outstanding at the end of 2023. He noted that the financing had been directed primarily towards the tourism sector, the main driver of the Maldivian economy, bringing the total value of US dollar loans to $860 million US dollars. Referring to these figures, Sharif said that between 2021 and the end of 2023, the bank issued a total of $249 million US dollars in US dollar loans. This was followed by an additional $142 million US dollars in 2024, $284 million US dollars in 2025, and a further $226 million US dollars during the first 6 months of this year alone. He added that the first half of this year marked the highest average monthly volume of US dollar sales to customers in BML's history. This includes foreign currency sold for card transactions, telegraphic transfers for businesses, education and medical expenses, as well as cash sales to travelers. According to Sharif, the bank sold an average of $21 million US dollars per month in 2021. By 2023, this figure had risen to $37 million US dollars per month. This year, BML is selling approximately $80 million US dollars every month. Sharif also highlighted that the limit for overseas debit card transactions, which had been set at $250 US dollars in September 2020, was increased to $1,000 US dollars from November 2025 for payments relating to goods and services purchased abroad. In addition, the bank raised the foreign currency allowance for purchasing airline tickets, paying for hotel accommodation, and covering medical expenses to $3,000 US dollars. Sharif noted that these facilities continue to be available to customers today.
The Bank of Maldives or BML announces that its homegrown digital wallet Swipe has crossed the 20,000 user milestone, a figure revealed by BML CEO Mohammed Sharif at the opening ceremony of the Youth Entrepreneurs Expo.
Launched in March this year, Swipe is a 100% Maldivian developed product that meets international standards for financial transactions. Sharif said the wallet aligns with President Dr. Mohamed Muiz's vision to expand the digital economy to 15% of GDP by 2030 and to increase youth participation in creative and digital sectors. The CEO highlighted that foreign users can register for Swipe after completing eKYC procedures, permitting them to send money to the Maldives and pay local businesses. According to Sharif, BML is currently integrating Swipe with leading global payment networks including Alipay, WeChat Pay, MasterCard, and Visa to let merchants settle international payments without a physical card, a feature slated for rollout later this year. Swipe now offers the ability to open international multi-currency accounts in US dollars, British pounds, euros, each with its own IBAN. According to BML, the new functionality is expected to be a game changer for Maldivian youth engaged with international clients, removing barriers to cross-commerce and reinforcing the country's push towards a vibrant, digitally enabled economy.
The Maldives Monetary Authority, or MMA, reports that the country's official foreign exchange reserves stood at $686.8 million at the end of June, a decline of $18 million from May and $145.6 million compared with June 2025.
Despite the drop in gross reserves, usable reserves calculated after subtracting foreign exchange obligations due within the coming year were $248.9 million, down $11.9 million month on month, but up about 23% from the $203 million recorded in June 2025. The MMA attributed the monthly fall in gross reserves to heightened foreign exchange spending, notably a 43% increase in dollars sold to the market under its intervention policy, driven by strong demand from banks and importers. The central bank also noted that reserves had peaked at $1.3 billion in March 2026 before sliding to $645 million as of the latest data, with the steepest monthly drop occurring in April. On the fiscal front, President Dr. Mohammad Muizzu highlighted that his administration has cleared $1.29 billion of external debt since taking office, including $891 million inherited from the previous government and $195 million from earlier administrations, plus $62.5 million of debt accrued under former presidents Mohammad Nasheed and Mohammad Wahid Hassan. The MMA has forecast that official reserves will reach $904 million by year end, reflecting ongoing measures to strengthen the country's financial position. The World Bank's Maldives Development Update 2026 corroborates this outlook, noting that the gap between government revenue and expenditure has narrowed to $330.7 million, around 4.3% of GDP, largely due to higher revenue and tighter spending.
The internationally renowned shipping company Evergreen Line launches its services in the Maldives. The company's services will be provided in the country through the national shipping company, Maldives State Shipping, or MSS.
A ceremony to mark the introduction and official launch of Evergreen Line services in the Maldives was attended by the State Minister for Economic Development, Transport and Trade, Abdul Latif. The event, held at Hotel Jen in Male, officially inaugurated the company's operations in the country. Also in attendance were Maldives State Shipping Managing Director Ahmad Sharif, senior officials of the company, and State Trading Organization STO's Managing Director Shimad Ibrahim, representing MSS parent company. Addressing the ceremony, State Minister Abdul Latif said the partnership would help strengthen the Maldivian economy. He noted that with more than 90,000 categories of goods being imported into the country, the shipping industry plays a vital role in supporting the national economy.
By combining MSS's local expertise with Evergreen's vast global network, we are actively reinforcing our supply chains against modern global shipping challenges.
He added that the biggest challenge currently facing the industry is congestion at the Male commercial harbour. However, he said the government's ongoing efforts to relocate the commercial port would have a positive impact on the entire shipping sector once the project is completed. Maldives State Shipping signed the agreement to provide Evergreen services with the company's Sri Lanka office. Speaking about the partnership, MSS Managing Director Ahmad Sharif said the agreement would directly benefit Maldivian businesses. He noted that Evergreen operates cargo service to destinations around the world, giving local importers and exporters greater access to global shipping networks. Following the partnership, Maldives State Shipping has also been listed on Evergreen Line's official website as the company's representative in the Maldives. Evergreen Sri Lanka Vice President Anuradha Fernando said the company had carried out extensive research before selecting a partner in the Maldives that met Evergreen standards. Added that after beginning operations with MSS, the company is confident it has found a strong and reliable partner. Maldives State Shipping said that forming partnership with some of the world's most prominent shipping companies is a significant achievement for the company. In addition to Evergreen, MSS currently works with Hapag-Lloyd and Maersk and said it would continue exploring partnerships with other leading global shipping companies in the future.
Insights into business. TSMC, the world's largest manufacturer of advanced AI chips, expects to notch a fifth consecutive quarter of record earnings with a 59% surge in net profit for April to June, driven by booming global demand for AI infrastructure.
According to an LSEG smart estimate compiled from 18 analysts, TSMC is expected to report net profit of $19.65 billion for the second quarter. Smart estimates place greater weight on forecasts from analysts who are more consistently accurate. An earnings call at which it will provide third quarter and update full year guidance is scheduled. Any result above $17.79 billion would mark the company's highest ever quarterly net income and its 10th consecutive quarter of profit growth. On Monday, the company announced a 36% rise in second quarter revenue ahead of market forecasts and a record high.
Updates on world affairs. UN spokesperson says UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres is deeply concerned by continuing military escalation in the Middle East and has urged all parties to de-escalate and return to diplomacy.
Spokesperson Stefan Dujarric said the UN chief also called for the full restoration of international navigational rights and freedom of navigation in and around the Strait of Hormuz, adding that such rights must be respected by all parties in accordance with international law.
The Secretary General, I can tell you, is deeply concerned by the continuing military escalation in the Middle East region. He calls on all parties to take immediate steps for de-escalation and return to the path of dialogue and diplomacy. The Secretary General reiterates that a return to full-scale hostilities would exact an intolerable toll on civilians and have catastrophic consequences for international peace and security and the global economy.
Asked whether the United Nations was engaged in talks with parties involved in tensions around the Strait of Hormuz, Dujarric said officials continued to have contacts at various levels and were pushing for an active return to diplomacy.
Moving on to sports, with star players Kylian Mbappe, Michael Olise and Ousmane Dembele rested, France returns to training after their 2026 FIFA World Cup semi-final loss to Spain.
Goals from Mikel Oyarzabal and Pedro Porro saw European champion Spain secure a 2-0 win at the Della Stadium on Tuesday, ending France's hopes of reaching a third consecutive final and lifting the trophy for a third time. France will now instead face England, who suffered a 2-1 loss to holders Argentina in a third-place playoff match in Miami in what will be coach Didier Deschamps' last match in charge. Spain and Argentina meet on Sunday at the New York or New Jersey Stadium in the title match.
Concluding with news and entertainment, a nearly 38-foot Tyrannosaurus Rex skeleton named Gus sells for $50.1 million at Sotheby's in New York, surpassing its pre-sale estimate and setting a new auction record for a dinosaur fossil.
The mounted skeleton from the late Cretaceous period, about 67 million years ago, has been expected to sell for $20 million to $30 million. The auction house listed the lot as sold for $50,130,000. Gus's hammer price was $43 million, not including the buyer's premium, the fee added to the winning bid to determine the final price paid. Before the sale, the auction record for a dinosaur fossil was held by Apex, a Stegosaurus skeleton that sold at Sotheby's in 2024 for $44.6 million. Gus was discovered in the Hell Creek Formation in Harding County, South Dakota, on private ranch land owned by the late Gary Gus Licking, for whom the fossil was named.
We are honored to offer Lot 20, the Tyrannosaurus Rex, affectionately known as Gus, one of the largest and most complete T-Rex ever found. We can start the bidding here at $17 million, at $17, $18 million, $22 million, at 22 with Cassandra, 24 with Frank Everett at $24 million, with Frank Everett, Vice Chairman of Jewelry.
The skeleton is approximately 61% complete by bone count, with 183 fossil bone elements and 30 gastralia or belly ribs. It measures about 38 feet long and stands 12.5 feet tall. The skull is about 54 inches long and about 82% represented according to Sotheby's. Hatton said Gus stood out because of the completeness, the quality, the size, the preservation, as well as the careful work required to excavate and prepare the fossil. The sale also included copyright connected to the specimen, which Hutton said was unusual for a T-Rex offered at auction. She said those rights could give the buyer control over certain reproductions and distinguish Gus from other famous specimens, including Stan the T-Rex that sold for $31.8 million in 2020. Gus was offered as part of Sotheby's Geek Week Natural History Sale.
And that's all the news we have for today. We'll be back with any further updates. Until then, I'm Abdullah Ahil from PSM News.